Hello peeps, it's a hillbilly half-wit. I've got to be honest, I'm suffering a bit from going out yesterday watching the rugby. But we're going to have a bit of a chat about Keir Starmer in a minute. But I just wanted to say a bit of something about rugby yesterday. I'm a big Warren Gatland fan, and I thought it was a mistake removing him because I think he's one of the best coaches in the world on the rugby. And I'm happy to say when I'm wrong, and yesterday the lads played brilliant. I've got to say, I couldn't fault them, to be fair. They tried their best, different tactics, because Warren Gatland is known for having a very hard defence and being very having a really rough team. But when the lads aren't up to it, like our lads are a bit smaller, it's very hard on them. So there seems to be a lot of younger lads playing, to do a bit more of their freedom of what they want to do, which I liked. So I didn't think I'd be saying this today, but it's actually very positive yesterday. Players really played well. It's nice to see players playing a bit more spur of the moment. Gatland always has been very regimented in how he likes things done. And that works when you've got big players, but we haven't got that at the moment. So, gotta say, thumbs up from me from how they performed yesterday. They really did well against Ireland, and they could easily have won it. So let's go on to the other thing. Is Keir Starmer, the Keir Starmer. So he's come out today, trying to be the big man, saying that anybody who doesn't agree with him is a far-right extremist. Now, if you look on his own definitions of what they are these days, Tony Benn would be a far-right extremist. David Blunkett would be a far-right extremist for wanting borders, closed borders. That's what, because it's exactly the reforms policies are exactly the same as David Blunkett had in the year 2000 under Tony Blair. There's no difference. They just wanted to get it down to 30,000 or less, and have policed borders. If you were illegal, they'd just send you back then. It's nothing right-wing about it. It's complete nonsense. Now, let's talk about what Keir Starmer's done. So he's just managed to get a backdoor into all Apple products to get you to look at your own personal information, your own photos, everything. And it doesn't happen in any other country, only here. And Apple have bent over and been shafted up the arse by it. And the rest of us who use Apple products are the same. So you no longer have, not that I thought it was anyway, but your personal info can be viewed by these fucking spies and tossers behind the scenes. Like I said, it's a 1984 novel. So what else is he doing? He's blocked elections this year because he's afraid he's going to lose the council election. So that's a bit fascistic, if you ask me. Being afraid of your own voters. He can't go and talk to anywhere in the country to real voters because they don't like him. He has to go abroad or hide in his conference. He can't talk to real people because he'll get heckled. Because we hate his guts, don't they? The whole country hates his guts. Because treating us like children, they are really. They put a new head teacher in charge and he's going around like this to people when it's not his point to do that. So let's see what else he's done. He makes you such a nice person. He's sending troops to go in to die for a cause that I think they're not going to get in 10 yards further than they are now in Ukraine. Trying to make himself looking big. That's dictator stuff. Trying to make yourself look big to get more votes. There's dictator stuff for you. Spending other people's money in wars across Europe for no reason whatsoever. A warmongering bastard. Now, when I was younger, I know I say this all the time, but the Labour Party, most of them were anti-war. You don't see that now. You don't see likes of Tony Benn going to Iraq trying to stop the war happening, and they chucked him out of the Labour Party for it. And I remember all this stuff. This guy is a wrong un, and the sooner we get him out of there, the better. And it can happen in Wales now, because they're very worried. They're very worried about reform and us. We're not right-wing, we're just right. We're just people with common sense who've had a guts full of all of this. We can't keep throwing all this money away and civil servants there doing sweet fuck all in the background, working from home, having a nice sleep on the sofa where the rest of us are grafting. How can a farmer work from home in the house when he's got to look after all this? All your sheep, all your cattle. How can a builder work from home? He's got to build a wall. Or how can he work from home when he's got to do his building work? How can a person who works in a shop to feed everybody not work behind the counter and work from home? It's absolute fucking bullshit. It's communist bullshit. Because it's the same thing as always happened in communism. The certain people get more than the rest. And the certain people in the civil service now are. Now, when I was younger, people don't like to hear the actual facts. People in the civil service got less wages, but they had a really good pension. So that incentivized them to stay there. So when you worked in the private sector, you had a good wage, but you didn't have a pension. That's how it used to be. But now that has switched. So in the civil service, you get a hell of a good wage and a fucking massive pension. And when you're in the private sector, you get a fucking less money and no pension. See, this is all happening for a reason. All these councillors getting £4,000 a week. There's one now up in Liverpool has been voted the head of the council. £4,000 a week. That's what they're on. You go and have a look in my Hillbilly Halfwit Facebook page, and I just put a thing up there now how much councils are in debt in Wales and around the country. You'll be amazed. Powys is 250 million in debt after all the stuff they're taking off us. So I'm being moithered by my little lamb here again, look. Tank. So I'm a bit croaky in the voice, but I just had to say something about that. The guy's he's got a fucking liberty, and he calling us right wing, and we're just doing the same things as Tony Benn and David Blunkett and that used to say back years ago. Have control your borders from illegal people entering. Nothing right wing about that whatsoever. So please comment, rate and subscribe down here. My head's a bit fuzzy today, as back on the cider last night and I've gone off it a bit. All the best, Gaz.